So when you start up Tricaster, this is the first thing that you're going to see. You have selection of previous sessions. You can also create new sessions. So go ahead and grab that mouse. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on New. Okay? Go here. What's your class designation? June. June days. So how about June days practice? Okay. Here under volume, click there once. Okay. Or click on the drop down. We have 4 external hard drives that you can save to. Actually, the D drive is starting to get full. So I'm going to say, let's go to the E drive. Okay. Click. And, you know, I suppose if you ever get messages, and there's ways of looking at the hard drives to see what's more full than the other, although I will say it's also kind of it's up to us staff to make certain that when drives get full that we start to move stuff off. You definitely should know, though, just keep whatever volume you save to, try to remember where you saved it to, because there are 4 potential hard drives. All right, this we don't change, video standard NTSC, and the resolution, just leave that at 1080i. So those will be 2 controls that you do not change. Go ahead and start the session. All right. We're actually in the session right now, but this is a preliminary window where you can do 3 things. You can design custom graphics. You can import media. Actually, the manage also goes into exporting media and backing up your session. And the last thing is the live, which we're going to spend the most time in, which is live studio mode. But very briefly, we are going to, all right, first let's go to the graphics. Now, even though we're in this session of June Days Practice, it wants you to name a project for the graphics as well. So click in there and maybe June Days Titles. Okay, and click. When you're done, we will click Start Project. There are 2 ways of designing titles in the Tricaster. So there's this way, which is before you get into live mode. I'm going to show you a little bit in here, but I'm going to tell you something. You hardly ever have to really go into this mode. That is because when we go into the live mode, they have so many templates there that in most cases they're going to have a template that suits your need, and you can do some customization. But let's say you really want something original. That's why I wanted to show you this. This is where you go for something really original, where you can choose your font, your placement, your size. There's templates in here too. Go right down there to that drop-down menu, and it's a huge menu. Scroll, grab that thing and scroll down. Let's go to Electra Green. Now scroll down slowly. I'm looking for a lower, there we go, I like that. Click on that, that's a lower third. Okay. So you can get something similar in the live mode, but what you can't do in the live mode, I'm actually going to have you, while this is here, I want you to click Clone, and that's going to create a brand new page. So you have a number of pages. So in here, you can design multiple pages of graphics, like more than 1 page. But I had you clone that because we're going to destroy one of the pages, okay? So go back to page 2, and we're going to go to the arrow tool, and let's say you like this and this, but you hate that green bar. Go ahead and click on the green bar. Hit delete. Okay. Green bar is gone. Go to the box. Click and drag. It's probably going to cover up our text. That's okay. Go ahead and release. go back to the arrow tool, click on that. I think it's already selected, and we're going to send that backward. And backward once more. Okay, go to the color swatch, click that, and let's make that a dark blue. And then click, and then close that window. So, in the live mode, you have templates. You can change the text. You can change what it says. You cannot change font size, color, design. Here, you can completely customize your titles. Now we're going to send both of these titles. I guess we didn't destroy it too much, although I will say that's probably not as nice looking as the template that we had. You know, a plain blue bar. I mean, click on the green. That one actually had nice texture, and you know. We're going to send both of these to be used in our project, our session that we're going to have. So we go to File. Now let's say if you only want one page, we're going to take all the pages. If we only want one page, we could choose Send Current Page to Live, and that would only choose the whatever page is highlighted. It would only send that one, but I want both of my pages. So we're going to choose Send All Pages to Live. Go ahead and click that. Now this next part is really important, and this is the main reason why we're in here, because there are two file types that you can send to your live project. You can send a still image, or click on that little drop down menu. We can send a title page, and go ahead and select that. If we send a still image, you can't change the text. Like, you know, you'd have to have all the names proper in there, and you can't edit it later in live mode. But if we send it as a title page, we can then use that as a template and put in whatever names we want. So that's pretty important. Go ahead and click Save, and we are done in this mode. We're going to X out of it. This live text editor, just so you know, you probably, if you're doing a lot of work, you want to save often. Actually, we will do that. Go to File and just choose Save Project. And that just saves it where it's at. Do that often. The live interface is very stable. This live text editor, you won't even be doing anything demanding. It will crash.
Does it do autosave, or you have to manually save it every now and then?
This one you do have to manually save it. When it crashes, you lose your work.
Yeah,
you lose your work. Okay. So now we're going to X out of this. And this will bring us back to our initial selection. Okay. Now, one more thing to do before we go live. We're going to go to Manage. Okay. You're doing a news project. You have video that you want to bring in. You have still images that you want to bring in. Media elements. This would be the interface to do it in. Manage. Now, you can bring in elements when you're live too, but I want to make a distinction between browsing and import. Go ahead and click Browse Clips. So click on that. All right, and now we don't have. Let's say if a flash drive was connected, we'll click on a media drive. So click, pick a drive, any drive, and click on it. Let's go into Media, double click. Let's go into Clips, double click, and pick a folder and go into it. And save streams, and there's nothing there. Okay, well, so much for that demo. No, I don't know. Yeah, we'll go into some ones. There we go. Go into Capture, and pick one of those. All right, and double click, and that. All right, we'll go back. That actually opened it. All right. Go ahead and close that. You want to do browsing here, pretty much just lets you look at stuff. But if you browse in the live interface, let's say you had a flash drive in there. You browse and you pick a file you want. It's referencing that file from your flash drive. As soon as your flash drive is gone, that thing's going to be offline. So you want to do import media. Click on import. It opens up this window. You will click add. You get something similar to the browsing window. The difference is, though, is that if we select something, go ahead and select that same, go into capture. All right, go back. Find something else. Oh no, we don't have anything in here yet. Demo for Tor. Try that. Go into capture.
Yeah, we got a lot of work.
Click on this. All right. See how it shows up in there? That's not a flash drive, but and then you would click.
You imported it from the flash drive onto the computer.
And when you click import, the difference is that will create a local copy on the Tricaster hard drive. So you can remove your flash drive and it won't be offline, because when you import using this menu, it creates a copy. And away it goes.
Can you only import from flash drives, or can you import from like internet or anything like that?
I think it does need to be like it needs to be a file. Could be a hard drive, could be a flash drive, but it needs to be a definitive file. That because something from the internet, you'd have to, if it's on the internet, you have to then download it as a file.
Makes sense.
All right, so it's imported, and we can close that. But you do want to use this particular feature for import media. When you're done with a project, like you've just done something, and you want to get it to a drive for editing upstairs, export media would then, you can find your file and direct it to go to your drive. Mind you, there, if you go into browsing, you can do a drag and drop operation too. Just drag the file on, so you can export or you can drag and drop. In the browsing menu, you could do that. All right, but we're not going to export anything. Close out. Okay. Now we're going to go live. Start live production. Okay, there are two initial things that you generally will probably want to do when you start a brand new session. This is sort of the default view that you're going to get. For one, the first thing I'm going to have you do, I'm going to say, is more of a personal preference. Like, see how this comes up and you have like kind of a repetition of what you see over here? I like for this to be full screen program. So we're going to see that there's a little gear, it's really hidden, but click on that. It brings up a menu. Go to multi-view. Multi-view controls the second monitor. And go to screen layout and set it to program. And click close. And now this is full screen program. Go ahead and take one. And you can see it is seeing what is on the program. Especially when you're doing keying or when you're trying to evaluate an image, it's kind of nice to see the program large rather than, I mean, that's not a horrible, but sometimes when you're really doing fine tuning of a chroma key, it's nice to see a big image so you can see the fine details of what's going on. The second thing, and this is actually really critical, when you start a session, the default is that all the audio inputs are down all the way. And if you want to hear people on lavaliers over here, you need to do this. So we're going to go to the external audio tab. And just so you know how this studio is set up, your lavaliers in there, go to an audio XLR snake, okay? That snake goes into this board. 6 XLR cords. So you have 6 potential channels going into that board. But that board takes those 6 channels, mixes them down into one stereo output that is going into audio 1. So move that lever up to about the 0 mark. And once that's there, of course, you know, people on the inputs, once you unmute the inputs, you will be able to hear and adjust their levels. But until you did that, if you left that down there, you'll be like, all right, talk to me. Oh, I'm not getting anything, you know,
So even
I'm
if
not
you
getting
move
anything.
this- So even if you move it here, it doesn't matter if you don't move it there.
Yeah, until that's up, this is essentially, if that's down all the way, that's muting what that's sending it.
Okay.
Okay? Once that's up, then you can adjust your levels, individual channels, you know, main level, and you'll be able to get audio. So that's a really crucial step that you, like, these are one of the first 2 things I would do in a session is make this program and set this
To 0.
to up on channel 1, which is where it's coming
To
in.
0.
Yeah.
Oh, it just went all the way up.
So move it back down to 0.
Oh, she's doing it.
That's okay. All right. Now, we're going to start to work with the cameras. I'm going to need, here's going to be a fun thing, because to effectively show what we're doing with the cameras, it's best to have people sitting there, but we're going to cheat. Okay? Because obviously if you're sitting in there, you can't watch what's going on in here. Well, I'm going to have 2 people sit in there for 1 moment, and then we're going to do a freeze frame on the cameras, and then have you come right back in. Okay? So I need 2 volunteers to sit in those 2 seats again.
Indy.
And then I'm going to call you back in just a moment. All right, so get ready with that mouse. Okay. Actually, you know what? No, I guess we're fine. You know, the main camera, can someone go behind that camera and pan it a little bit left? So the camera closest to the door, and center them up a little bit. There we go. That's great. That is great. Come on back. All right. So grab. We're gonna get rid of that table anyway. Okay. Go ahead. Grab the mouse. You're gonna like this feature. See the hand. Click on that hand. Click once. And come over here and click on that hand. All right, come on back in.
Oh, that freeze frame.
Here, move the mouse away. Come on back
She's
in.
not gonna like that.
She's not gonna like it though.
I hate that shot.
Freeze frame.
But now you can be in here while we work with this image, okay? All right, so after all those preliminary moves, now we're going to start to get into what I consider the fun stuff. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that green wall, okay? Be careful not to remove the freeze frame, but there's a little gear right next to there. Good. Go to the Live Mat tab, and now this gets tricky. You're going to go to that eyedropper, you're going to click, but you can't release the click. You have to hold the clicker, drag it over, and only release it when it's on a good reference green. Now release the clicker, and voila, we've started to remove the green wall. Okay? Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of picture noise there still, and I'm afraid to say both of you look a little green in the gills, okay? We can cure both those things. The main control of your key is right here. Beyond choosing the color, you have tolerance, smoothness, and luma limit. Many times you'll only really have to work with the tolerance. When you choose a reference green, you're probably choosing literally 1 pixel. Now, if that wall was like a perfect green, exactly that pixel, you might be done. But the wall isn't. It's got brighter spots, darker spots. So when you increase the tolerance, you're telling it, well, you're starting with that reference green. When you increase the tolerance, you're telling it, well, it can be a wider margin of what I selected. And when you bring tolerance down, you're saying, no, only that precise green. Let's bring tolerance. So put the mouse right above tolerance, and you'll see a double arrow. Now, granted, and don't click. If you click, you can type in numbers, but if you get the double arrow, if you click and drag left and right, you can adjust the values. So click and drag left. Let's put our tolerance to 0. So if the tolerance is too low, you bring back in the wall. It might not be green, but you bring the wall back in. Let's go the other direction, and let's take it too far. So let's increase the tolerance. And keep going right, keep going right. Actually, that's good, but keep going right. I want you to keep going. Oh, and you start to, so if the tolerance gets too high, you'll start to eat away things that are not green.
Oh no.
Okay? All right. Now let's move it back left again.
It looked like that guy, like Dave Chappelle from that show.
And so and a little more left, there we go. That's pretty decent. So obviously you want the person to be solid. You know, that's the goal. The wall gone, no picture noise, and I think we did this pretty well, and we didn't need, now if tolerance alone doesn't do it, you can then mess around with the smoothness or the luma limit.
Would that take the green off of us?
That will not. That is good. That is funny you should ask that, because that goes to the second control, spill suppression. So go to the tolerance of spill suppression and slowly drag that right. Little more, and all right. And that's probably, now if it goes too far, let's go too far. All right. Drag. Keep going. If you go too far, you'll really drain people of their natural skin. You know, it's like you're desaturating them. So I'm going to say, now let's take it back. But you can see how much green that removed. Okay? So that's how you get rid of the remaining green that might be still reflected on clothing and faces. Spill suppression. All right, so I think we're done in here. Go ahead and click close. We're going to leave this one alone for a moment because someone else is going to key that out a little later, okay? Now, on camera 1, on channel 1, this is all we'd ever get. So if I want to put you on a virtual set, we have to use a mixed channel. A virtual channel represented by these tabs, okay? V1 through V8 are all mixed channels. Mixed channels can be routed to anywhere. It doesn't it doesn't have to be camera 1 to V1. You could choose any input to any mixed channel. But go ahead and take V1. Now we're going to start to get into more of these other controls, though. It's important. We're looking now. Go ahead and take 1. Go ahead and take V1. Well, nothing much changed, right? All right. V1 is also selected under the virtual input delegate, and this top row up here controls what the mixed channel sees. Under the A bus, select 2. So now we're not looking at camera 1 on the, on the virtual channel. All right, so now we're going to go back to camera 1. So that's what I mean, that any channel could be routed to the virtual channels. All we'd ever get on channel 1 is this image. We're going to add, before we add a virtual set, we're going to add a background without a set. So we are going to go to the Still tab, okay? And click the Add, and we're going to borrow a picture from someone else's pre-existing project. So go to, pick one of these someone else's project. All right. You're up. You pick a picture. What do you want? What do you want behind you? Huh?
UN.
UN. Okay. Click that. Click OK. Now I want you to select on the B bus. Select Still. Okay. So whatever is on the B bus will be your background.
That was a DDR2?
No, it's still.
It's still.
Oh, okay.
Still. Because we put it on the Still channel.
Okay.
You have, and we'll get into them a little more later, you have 4, or I think you have 5 media players. DDR1, DDR2, the Still, and the titles, and then there's actually a sound player as well that only does sound files.
So if you take off the still, it'll take out the UM from the back?
Or if we chose something that has nothing on it, actually, I'll show you something bizarre. Go ahead and put 2 as the.
Oh.
So what's on the B bus is the background. What's on the A bus is the primary
That's kind of cool though.
image.
Okay.
Now let's go back to the Still. Okay, we still don't have a virtual set chosen. So to choose a virtual set, we're on V1. We're going to go to the V1 tab, okay? And you do your set selection right underneath in this gear. So click that gear, and we're going to choose, scroll down. I want you to choose a sitting set that has a picture-in-picture.
2 pictures?
So, it could be 1 monitor.
Okay.
But choose a desk set, so not a standing set, because you have standing sets and you have desk sets.
One of those.
And then go ahead and
Night beat. Because there's a
once you
camera.
select it, go ahead and choose OK.
Yeah, that one of
You want
those.
this one? Here, choose the center one for now. Go ahead, click that, click OK. And now you are on a set.
Like I'm on ESPN.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, once you're on a set, the first thing you might notice is, well, you're sitting a little high in that set, right?
You have to put it on.
We
Is
can
that the tilt?
control that.
Yeah,
One thing.
We're here.
Yes, although when we were playing, that one thing has a tendency to wander on its own. It might have been abused a little, because when you're done, it doesn't just sit. It wants to go left. So I'm going to show you an alternate way to move stuff. In your virtual channels, this represents the A bus. No, I'm sorry, that's the overlay. There's your A bus, there's your B bus. You see these symbols? That's a move symbol right there. So go to the move symbol of A, and this brings up a menu. If you click on that position tab, click and drag up. Click and drag down. Now we're going to drag down slowly until we hide the desk, and we get to where what looks like what would be a natural approximation of you sitting behind that desk. Another thing is that Well, that's all well and good, but that's kind of a really far shot, right?
Yeah.
We're very far out. Although before we exit this menu, you see that the size over here, go to size and click and drag, and you should be able, you can make people larger or smaller. Let's say the proportions look wrong, okay?
Oh.
You can adjust the size of your image without too much detriment, you know? Like you can blow up an image a little larger because it's all HD, it doesn't suffer too much. So you can adjust size and position. Now, going back to position, click and keep dragging right. There is a limit. You can't place them anywhere. So keep dragging right. More. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, there's our border. And there's another border. There's a top border, a left border, and a right border. So you cannot, so here, go over there, okay? And now drag them up high. See, there's a limit. And now, and you can hide them behind the desk, okay. And now we'll recenter them up. All right, we'll close out of this menu here. All right, let's go in closer. Let's click on that image. Now, the other thing I want you to notice is that before we brought a set in, what was on the B bus was a full screen background. Once you engage a set, it changes into the picture-in-picture. So the B bus determines the picture-in-picture. Go ahead again, choose channel 2 for the B bus. Okay? And then we'll go back to still. All right. You're not limited. Here, click that one. Click that one. You're not limited to those views. You could change any one of these views to a slightly different thing. If you go to that lever and click and drag that lever, I guess down, because that seems to be the only. Okay, so you can choose your zoom level, and then it will remember that 4 is now this zoom level. So she's dragging right there. Okay? So you can customize. You can customize 4 views. That is all that you can customize. You can't say 5 views. 4 is all you got. But you are not stuck with their presets.
Do they have tablets on the desk?
The
No.
What is that supposed to be?
Well, I think that's part of the set. Some of the virtual sets have like fake reflections, like they're sort of you see the person's reflection, and that sort of helps with the whole illusion. All right. Zoom.
Or A. Take A in this one.
Right. Now the B bus as well has a. If you go there, now that kind of nicely filled that up. But if, let's say the picture didn't fill up your picture-in-picture, you could go and you could adjust the size and its position, and you could tweak that as well. But that's actually looking pretty good. The one control, I'm going to tell you, even though it's here, you probably don't want to use it. Go to that rotate tool, click that and drag. Keep going, keep going. It like works. I think that's a 4 air. Let's go to the middle one. I think click and drag that. Change that value. All right, go to the top one. One of these will do like a 3D rot. Okay. Go to the bottom value. No, that's just moving size. Okay. Well, there should be a rotation here. Oh, there we. But mostly you're just going to mess up your image with that. If you do get it to rotate, it's not a 3-dimensional rotation, it's a 2-dimensional rotation. So it doesn't really look good. So I'd say the main controls are size and position. We'll go momentarily to, there's a crop tool in here too. Click that and click out of there. So I want to get, or hit return, enter. All right, now get the double arrow and click and drag right. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Close that for a moment. We're still in the B bus. I want to get into the A bus. So click here.
This one, the A one?
Yes. And crop right. So let's say we just wanted India on the set. And now bring them back. All right. So you do have a crop tool that can be used to get rid of, if you have a good frame and there's something coming in on the edge, as long as they're not interacting with it, and there's some space between you, you can do that crop and get rid of that. Go ahead and close that out.